We are live. I love it when the banner comes up and says, "You are live." Welcome to another installment in this live stream series where I have been asking the critical questions that every business owner and CEO must consider if they are going to build integrity and resilience into their organizations, particularly in the face of challenges. Now, I am your host, Sue Matheson, CEO Catalyst. I am also a certified integrity game coach and mentor. I bring this framework up to help orient where we are in this conversation and give context to some of these questions that I've been posing that business owners and CEOs need to be asking. We've covered purpose, gifts, potential, goals, and the last 2 or 3 sessions, we've been looking at strategies, tactics, and resources. To help remind you, strategies are the plan, tactics are the how, and resources are the tools. My question today is, what are you adding to your toolbox? Are you finding ways and means to support your strategy effectively that you can add into your toolbox, that you can draw on as required and be able to execute your strategy effectively? In a previous session, I started by asking, why is this so important? And in summary, there's a few things that came out of that conversation. That having strategy saves time, saves money, it helps us measure. It helps us measure results, and it helps to keep us on track. So they're just some key elements from a summary perspective. And then I was exploring, well, what stops people? What stops us from really addressing this question of strategies and being able to implement them and make sure that we put the work in so that we have a robust strategy? And again, in a very quick summary, some of the things were the belief that we already know. There might even be a fear of strategy, a sense of anxiety because there's a feeling that, oh, if I have a strategy, I'm locked into it, that it's set in stone and there's no flexibility. Well, that really comes back to mindset, I think, rather than the value of having a strategy. Some of the other roadblocks could include our own limiting beliefs. Maybe we have a lack of clarity around what strategy really is. And hopefully the banner that I've got up there at the moment, where strategies are the plan, tactics are the how, and resources are the tools, will actually help unpack that a little bit and take away the anxiety of, well, what is strategy? Another roadblock might be fear of failure or even fear of success, in the sense of, what if this actually works am I going to be able to deliver and have systems and frameworks in place that are going to support delivery of the success? So there's suddenly a fear there that comes into play, or even a fear of commitment, of going, okay, I've got a strategy, but then there's this underlying fear of following it through, being committed to it, doing the work that's required. And that was the basis of much of the conversation in a previous session. So today, to really close out this topic of strategies, tactics, and resources, I want to briefly explore some recommendations around what you as a business owner and CEO might consider in terms of how you approach exercising this. At a personal level, I believe there are really 6 categories to consider how you might investigate different strategies that can support you as a person. Because if you're not looking after yourself, you're not going to have the sustainability to manage your business. I strongly believe in that. So the 6 categories are health, wealth, relationships, and that might include relationship with yourself, your family, your friends, entertainment and variety, or even what's on your bucket list. What keeps you inspired? Like, that's a category in itself. What are you doing to grow, to mature as an individual? And that can be at a personal level, professional level, spiritually, mentally. And then the last one from an individual perspective is, what's your contribution to others, to your community? What's your legacy? Now that ties very much into your business and your organization as well. So from a health perspective, we can break that down into your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health. Taking time to consider, what are you doing? What are you building into your day that meets those needs? So these 6 categories essentially form the basis of your emotional needs. And Tony Robbins speaks to this in a lot of detail, the importance of making sure that we meet our emotional needs. Because if our cup isn't full, we are going to struggle to give out to others and support others. And as a leader of an organization, that is super important. So we have to employ very clear strategies where we're taking care of us so that we can do what we need to in supporting others, in supporting or in leading our organizations. Now, more specifically then, from a business perspective, strategies come into key areas such as marketing. What are we doing for gathering information in? What are we doing in terms of researching our competitors, our market, our suppliers, our customers? So we want to get that research in. But equally then, from a marketing perspective, what are we doing to get the message out? What's our strategy around that? Now, these are prompting questions because the detail of what needs to be happened may differ slightly. So I guess I don't really want to go in this conversation today into the weeds of what that might look like, because it might be different for different sectors, for different size organizations. But I really want to use this as prompting to challenge you to think about, from a business perspective, from your marketing, what research are you doing to get that information in? But then what are you doing to get that information out? How are you connecting with your customers, your suppliers? Then there's sales. What are you doing to, yes, you've got the message out, but then how are you making sure that the message that goes out is actually getting conversions? Then from that you're getting people who are willing to shift from that conversion stage to actually fully embracing your product or service and being able to close that sale out. There's a number of aspects to consider under the heading of what I would call operations. Research and development, or product service development. What strategies are you using to enhance that within your organization? What are you doing when you actually get your customers in to make sure that they are repeat customers, that they are getting such a fantastic experience that they're happy to refer you out to others? And then again, finally, under that operations heading, there's facilities management. What's the environment that you're working in? What are you doing to make sure that the lights are on, that you've got the necessary technology to make your business work? The hardware, the software. There's a lot to consider. And then the fourth heading is finance, and breaking that down, you've got accounts payable, you've got accounts receivable, you've got your transactional finance elements, which would be your payroll tax, your GST, doing all of those technical financial components that meet the obligations to government, to different organizations, to making sure that bills are paid, which comes under accounts payable. But there's that transactional financial element, but then there's also your strategic financial element. What are you doing to manage cash flow? What are you doing to make sure that you've got a cash base to tide you through if something untoward happens and suddenly there's, for whatever reason, no money coming in? How long can you survive for? Is it 5 days? Is it 3 months? What are you doing strategically to manage all of that? So there's a lot from an individual perspective for you as a business owner and a CEO, so that you can maintain your individual, your health, you can show up in the best way possible to lead your organization, but then also it's running your organization or having the right people in place to fulfill all of those obligations. Again, strategically, what are you doing? Now, there's way, way, way more detail that we could go into, particularly, if we were going to start breaking down some of those elements from a business point of view. But I really just want to use this opportunity at a very high level to prompt you to think about, what are you doing strategically in each of these areas within your own organization? If this resonates with you, if this is a conversation that you would like to go into further, please reach out. My email is sue@suematheson.com.au. I would love to have a conversation with you. And there's no obligation in that. I give you 2 sessions, complimentary. The first one is for 90 minutes. And it is about understanding you as a business owner or a CEO. What is important to you? What is keeping you up at night? What do you see as your potential? What do you value? To start understanding you as an individual in the context of your organization. And that's where we start. Now, there is no obligation there's no payment required. That is purely 90 minutes of my time that I give to you. And if you find value in that, we do a second session, slightly shorter, for 60 minutes, where we start to hone into what can be some very tangible next steps for you. Now, those 2 sessions, 90 minutes first, 60 minutes the second, totally complementary. So my email again, sue@suematheson.com.au. And in the subject line, put inquiry. And we'll make a time and have that conversation and unpack, what is it that you are struggling with most? If I come back to where we're up to, even if it's a question around purpose, why are you in your business? What is the purpose of the business? Gifts. What are your competitive advantages? What is your mindset about giving and receiving? What do you see as your potential, your vision, your mission, your objectives? And maybe you're struggling in those areas. Maybe you're not quite sure how to approach it. We can work through that. It's the integration of those that then help to inform what your goals need to be. What can you really focus on in the next 30 days or 90 days that is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck, particularly in terms of your investment, your emotional investment, your energy, the commitment of your staff, your resources? What is going to give you the best value in the shortest amount of time? And to support all of that, what are the strategies, tactics, and resources that you need to employ to bring all of that together? And that is where we are up to in the conversation. We actually shift gear next time around. And I look forward to being with you again. and being able to share insights, provide prompting questions, food for thought that I trust are helping you as a leader, as a business owner, to be more effective, more efficient in what you were doing and how you were running your business and your organization. I look forward to seeing you soon and continuing to add value. If you are looking at this recording, I welcome your comments. I welcome your, don't feel that you have to agree with me. You might want to challenge me. I'm open to that. So please feel free to comment in the recording, and I look forward to seeing you online again soon. Bye for now.